Welcome to Empowered to Grow, the podcast. I am your host, Hanan Basha, the business doctor. Following our conversations with empowered women who woke up one day and consciously claimed, I am more than enough, I am worthy, I am empowered to grow. And along their empowering journey towards realizing their own potential and their quest for growth, they became a beacon of hope and guidance for others. May you also find your inner power to grow. Hello again, everyone. This is your host, Hanan Basha, with another episode of Empowered to Grow. This is the part where we call it, this is our Unchartered Discussions. And I'm still here with Keri Faith. And we touched on a lot of topics in the first part of our discussion that we wanted to bring forth into to keep talking about. I think part of it was, it's about the language or the way we talk to ourselves, I believe. And I know I learned this from Tony Robbins and from Mel Robbins, and it was about the transformational vocabulary, our internal and our external dialogue, the words we use, the phrases we use, how we associate it. How we associate those phrases even to our worth, to our self-worth, and to our self-image, and to how we project ourselves and how we introduce ourselves. And I find it's fascinating that we use now I'm very cautious of it, but I used to use such disempowering language. And I can see and I can hear the expressions. Even I'm Egyptian, so even in our culture, there are a lot of expressions that are very disempowering, and we use it all the time, and we use it as a joke, or we use it to put someone down as a joke. I was like, seriously, this has to stop. I keep doing the timeout every time I'm talking to someone now. It's just because I held myself back for so long because of that language, because I did not feel good enough, because I did not feel worthy, because I did not feel that what I'm doing is, I was telling you earlier, even the way I describe myself, I thought of myself as fat, versus now that even that language is, when I say I am fat, that defines me as the fat. I am not fat. I am Hanan. Now, the fat that is around my body, the layers of fat around my body that are bogging me down, are what I need to shed. And I need to shed them, not lose them, because when you lose something, you find it again. I need to shed them as in once and for all, because they're holding or they're causing distress to my organs and to my body. And thus the whole transformational thought and the whole image has changed for me. So what are your thoughts on this, Keri?
Well, it was so beautiful that you were just vulnerable and shared that. And when you were saying the word, calling yourself in the past fat, I was just looking at you and seeing how you're so beautiful, strong, and empowering. And, just even to change that when you look into the mirror, and instinctively, media and culture has beauty look different all across the world, right? Even from 100 years ago to beauty now. And so just to know that we as individuals have the power and are empowered to choose that language and say, look in the mirror. And even if you catch yourself saying I'm fat, or, my butt looks bad today, or whatever you're going to say.
My skin or my nose or my hair or whatever it is. I mean, there's 1,000 ways we can put ourselves down when it comes to our image. I know that. I know I used to do that. I mean, even embracing my curly hair, that was a journey that only started like nearly 3 years ago. Before that, it was like straighten it, go to the hairdresser. I could not go to a meeting or an event without straight hair. It just was not appropriate, But then I realized, but this is me. This is my hair. And now I had to I literally chopped it all off, and then I had to nurture it back again into growth. And as it is, it's part of my body, and I have to nurture it to be the best version that it could be of itself. Would I like it to be longer and fuller and stuff? Of course, there's always more that I'd like, but I'm very proud of it now. And like before, when people used to say, oh my God, I love your hair. It's like, seriously, it's like all over the place and stuff. Now when I'm like, oh, thank you. I can help you with your curly hair. And I start kind of giving up right away the encouragement and the recipes and everything that comes with it.
Right. There's so much packed into that in the sense of, how many times have we got compliments about our hair? And even yesterday, this happened. I was on a group call on Zoom, of course, and I just felt like I hadn't had time to do my hair as of right now, too. And I had like 3 comments in the chat saying, "Oh, your hair looks beautiful like always." And even 5 minutes ago, I was telling myself, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting on this video. My hair looks terrible. I didn't have time to do it." But that just goes to show you how the way we think to ourselves is such a limited perception. And just to embrace it and realize that our beauty within ourselves is we downgrade our own beauty, we downgrade our own value, we downgrade our own worth and intelligence. And really, when you look at it from a lifespan, right? And a lifespan, or even when you get to the end of your life, what is truly going to be important? It's not necessarily what you look like, how good your hair was on that one day.
Yes.
It's really about the feeling that we have left in people's hearts, in their minds, in their memories, and that impact. And not to just downplay what we have here. When we can take out the material side of it and get to the soul level, get to the heart level, that doesn't fit into any label. It's just expansive. It's abundant, like you said. And it comes down to language.
That's true. I mean, it's beautiful how you said about stripping away the material part and the exterior part to see them, how you feel and how you felt going through it. And that's the memory that you're leaving behind. And, when we really do think back on moments that define us, on milestones, you'd realize sometimes we do remember what we were wearing, where we were standing and those kind of things. But in essence, it's the memory of how we felt. And a lot of those, especially the good ones, are usually associated with a very, very simple setting. You're on the beach, you're barefoot, you're in your hair's all over the place. You've got sand coming out of every area in you, and you're in swimsuit. But it is that feeling, it's that freedom, it is that connectivity, that intimacy, whatever it is. You would find that these are the moments that you cherish the most and that have the most impact on you. I have moments that I remember. It was like, talking to my professor at university, and it was outside the corridor. It was in the corridor, outside our class. And he said one statement to me. This was close to 20 years ago. That has stuck to me, has stuck with me. It's about that person looking at me in that way, an ex-friend of mine. And she looked at me in a way like, and that's what you've been doing all that time. And I was showing her something I was super proud of. It was my first brochure in my marketing job, it was that kind of thing. And that for me, that was 25 years ago. And I still remember that moment. And it is those things that we have to keep reminding ourselves that it is the transformational vocabulary. It is the language, our inner and outer dialogue that we will keep in our memory, locked away. And that will come out to whether empowers or disempowers. It would be our fuel to kind of get out of a rut, or it will be the same fuel that keeps us in the same rut and keeps us rotting in there just because we can't get ourselves out. And I think that is a choice that we get to make.
It is. And this is such an aligned topic with really what I teach and what I want to empower people with, and especially women, is that the way with emotional intelligence is one of the areas of my expertise. And the way I decipher between an emotion and a feeling is that, well, first off, I think emotion is the new currency. I really do. This is the movement that I'm on, because it's all about the feeling at the end of the day. So to me, I'm on this movement that emotion is the new currency, because we are all very separated, divided, isolated, and all these things and being in 2021 right now. But the way I empower or want to empower your listeners today is that emotion is a physiological response in our body. Mm-hmm. And I know you brought up, I think, Mel Robbins, and she talks a lot about this as well. But emotion is just physiological. Yes. You know, it comes from our brain and chemicals, but the feeling is something, a word that we choose through language to define that emotion. Yes. So I want to empower everyone that when they have just become aware and conscious of their physiological state of their body, when they feel whatever, whether it's anxiety, I know that's something that I've really struggled with my whole life, is the anxiety, because it's that pounding heart, it's the sweaty palms, it's the sweaty armpits. It's just a sensation in our body. But the words that we choose are going to either empower us and enlighten us and make us feel elated, or it's going to make us feel in a lower vibrational state, is how I define it. Yes. So be mindful, yes, right? And empower that you can choose a word, just one word differently for that physiological response. And really, when you look at it at a scientific point, is that every word has a certain vibrational energy. That's true. Just like emotion does. All it is energy. And I'm sure that you have something to say about this. As a doctorate.
Totally. I can't agree more. And I think it's as you said, it's the physiological, it's the emotional, it is the mental association, and it is the physical as well, because that also, all of this then I think kind of feeds into how we carry our body and how, our stance and our stand and how we sit and how we talk and how we come across. And I think it was Joseph McClendon, the gentleman with Tony Robbins, when he was like, how do you walk into a room, and that kind of energy that translates into also the vibrational of you as a person. Like, there are people who walk into a room and they literally light it up. They haven't done anything. They just walked in, and you feel like kind of that energy just kind of flows through, and everyone kind of lifts up a couple of degrees. And there are people who walk into a room, and the first thing you think is like, oh, I can't take this. And it is sad for me, because I feel like a lot of the times we can switch that around. Again, as you said, it's one word. It's how we associate this. Yes, you could get some of the worst news, but still what you make of it. And, as Tony says, life happens for you, not to you. So just that, even that perspective makes you shift things around. Okay, now this has happened. Now what? What do we do about it? Rather than, oh, this has happened. Yeah.
Exactly. And when you can really look at our beings as energy, and the energy that we're just not caring for ourselves, but how that affects others. And you had a good example of how someone can walk into the room and you can feel them light it up, or you can just look at them and know they're miserable on the inside. Yeah. And that affects our health, because it's not only projecting to those around us, but those words that we choose are sending a message to each cell in our body. That's true. If you look at, how cancer is formed, it's from cells multiplying that are not good cells, right?
No, not friendly.
Type of, you're the doctorate here, but any type of energy that you're projecting is either, I like to say, on the plus or the minus. And that is sending a message to your cells. So if health and wellness is a priority in your life, and I know that it is for you, that the most mindful thing that we can do is choose our language and be empowered through language, because that's how I was sick from age 3. It's just because I heard someone else speaking to me and someone else's language telling me that I was, bad, negative, nobody wanted to be around me, became my inner dialogue. And it not only destroyed my mind, but it destroyed my body for 40 years until I found, this empowerment in myself through self-development, through positive psychology, that we can change it.
That's true. Well, I love that, Keri. And I think this is a very high note to end our discussion on. And I know that this is not the end of a discussion. I know that we can go on forever, and I can, I'm sure both of us can come up with tons of examples of how the word, as in the vocab that has been used around us, the energy that has been around us, that has impacted us in a very physical manner, and how our body and our sympathetic and nervous system and everything accepted it as that. I know that literally I might need to write a book just about that, the psychosomatic symptoms of the negativity in my life and the stress that came along with it and everything. So on a positive note, let's say that positive language is not just kind of the woo-woo talk of everyone. It does have an impact. It does have a very significant impact, not only on your body, on your mental health, on your emotional health, on your psyche as a whole, and how you carry yourself as a person, and how you transmit that energy to yourself and to everyone around you.
I can't wait to read that book of yours, because it definitely is needed. And as a collective and as humans are realizing that the way that we've done things have made us sick in the past, we are all on this healing journey to just be better human beings and be empowered to take control of our own lives. And I feel like we're doing it together. And the more of us that do it together, the more that we're going to heal countries, we're going to heal the world, and just heal future generations.
Exactly. That is the mission. That is the purpose. And we're in it together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keri. Thank you, everyone. Yet again, empowered you, empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all. Thank you for listening to the Empowered to Grow podcast. For further engagement with a tribe of empowered women, join my Facebook group, Empowered to Grow, or visit my website, www.hananelbasha.com. I'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, know that empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all.